coming to you live from the Built Ford Tough Studio. Boomer Esiason, Greg Giannotti. It's Boomer and Gio on the Fan, simulcast across the country on CBS Sports Network and wherever you are on the free Odyssey app. Good Wednesday morning. The Yankees sweep the two-game series against the Mets, and those were two very welcome wins for the Yankees, now 3 in a row. And for the Mets side of things, if you were a Mets fan this morning, you are annoyed with this team for one of the first times all year. It really hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. But yesterday and last night, and even the previous game, there was just opportunities to score early on. And, of course, in the ninth inning last night as well, Francisco Lindor is in, that situation with the bases loaded. You're hoping that he can keep that ball fair, and then all of a sudden you got the windmill going, and then here come the Mets back. But it doesn't happen, and you've got the Colorado Rockies now that you have to beat up. But this was frustrating. This was a frustrating couple of games from a Mets standpoint, and from a Yankees standpoint, boy, was this needed. And oh, by the way, Aaron Judge is back. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, G. I think you said it perfectly. I think as a Met fan, I'm frustrated, but, these games didn't matter to us. They're like a preseason game. What do we care? Until you win a game, the Yankees get back on track. Who really cares?
They're like exhibition games,
yeah,
right?
like exhibition, like the Mayor's Trophies game. You remember that? That's what this is. So they split the Mayor's Trophy. They split the season series.
Like the Giants-Jets preseason game.
Who cares? Come on, it's nothing. It doesn't really matter much. What matters now is that the Mets do have a 2-game lead over Atlanta, who continues to win. They're 8-2 in their last 10. And they have to sweep the Colorado Rockies. They have to take 4.
Hold on a second. Yesterday, you sat there and told me throughout the whole show, you're not worried about the Braves. You're only focused on the Mets. You were even angrily telling me this.
I am.
And you told Keith Hernandez that, and then the first 10 words out of your mouth, you're talking about the Braves this morning.
No, I'm just saying that the Braves are 2 games behind. They got up to a half a game behind the Mets.
They did.
You remember that?
Yes.
And then the Mets pulled away. So now and I don't want to, if you want to look at a 13-game schedule like we normally do, the Mets over the next 13 games, 10-3 is attainable, and that's what they should be. And they should win these next 4 games against Colorado Rockies. The Rockies suck.
Yep.
They are bad. They are a terrible baseball team. DeGrom is going tonight.
Tomorrow
night. This is the stretch run. This is where, with the exception of the Brewers and the Dodgers, this is the stretch run for the Mets to finish off their glorious season that has had so many special moments. Now, in the last 2 games, there's been a lot of frustrating moments. Frustrating so much so, in fact, that Pete Alonso decides to snap his bat over his thigh.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I want to see, we have a bat in here. I want to see if Al can do it.
He's
on
gonna
his
snap his fibia or
whatever.
Al,
do you think you could do what Pete Alonso did last night?
I do not. No chance.
I love that guy. It means everything to everybody on both teams. I'm not taking anything away from either team about how hard they played, how intense these games were, how great the fans were at both stadiums. When the Yankees were at Citi Field, and then of course when the Mets leaving a Yankee Stadium. It was a great atmosphere, and I think both managers talked to that atmosphere, talked about the importance of the games, and I think you're right. The Yankees needed it. The Yankees have now won 3 in a row. They got back on track, and you know who came and played the final 3 games, the last 3 games they've won?
Andrew Benintendi.
You're damn straight he has. Yep. He has now all of a sudden showed up, and he has showed up huge, and due in large part to the last 3 games. And I would tell you that trade was now awesome. Now it's starting to pay dividends. And, of course, Aaron Judge shows up in the big moments. And who used to show up in the big moments all the time for the Yankees? Derek Jeter. This is why they have to keep Aaron Judge. This is why they cannot allow the San Francisco Giants to sign Aaron Judge. They have to keep him on this team.
And if you look specifically at this year, when Aaron Judge is going, the team is going, and when he's not, they're losing. There's no coincidence that Aaron Judge's worst stretch of the year coincided with the Yankees' worst stretch of the year, and all of a sudden he's hitting home runs again, and they got a 3-game winning streak.
Right, and Stanton should be back on Thursday, so, with this lineup now, and Rizzo looks like he's healthy, and, Amayu's playing great, and Benintendi's the guy now. It seems like he's settling in left field. He's running the bases great. He's coming up with big hits. He's a contact hitter, which everybody in Yankee land wanted. So all that stuff is starting to pay some dividends for them. on the Mets side of things, we just lost to Herman and Montes.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
You didn't score any runs.
Yeah,
it's not like you lost to those guys.
And that's frustrating because we had opportunities.
Right, especially in the first couple of innings and then in the ninth inning as well. I mean, when Clark Schmidt, who comes in, gets 9 outs and was brilliant for the Yankees, cannot get that final out. And then Boone has to come and get him. And they go to the bullpen. You're thinking, man, this is going to happen again.
And Lindor's had his moments, and he's had a really good year for the Mets, and this was going to be an opportunity for him to do something special.
Yeah, and I mean, he gets down 0-2 right away. He pulls that ball just foul, and then really it was just a, oh, by the way, fly ball to end the game to Florial. So that was, I mean, I don't know. I had faith in him in that spot. I really thought he was going to get a base hit, but it didn't happen. And then, you talk about the first couple innings, too. I mean, it's just annoying. And then getting thrown out at the plate.
Yeah.
It's just, and then
by the way, how about Cabrera?
Yeah, I know. He's been great defensively. Yeah,
holy crap.
That was a great throw.
I mean, this guy, he's either, at second base or he's at right field.
Shortstop.
He's all over the place.
Yeah, I know. To make that throw when you're not a natural right fielder is pretty impressive.
That kid's got an arm like a gun.
Yeah.
But the point is that's a guy that the Yankees brought up to give them
some life.
Something. And you know what? He may not be doing it with the bat, although he has, I think, a couple hits. I mean, some of the defensive plays he's made, those are run-saving plays. What do they call those stupid stats?
The run-saving plays?
Yeah, come on. What do they call it?
Some analytic metrics?
Yeah, some analytic
I don't know.
Piece of crap.
Run prevention?
Run prevention.
Yeah,
yes. That guy was that guy. I mean, I got to appreciate it. You got to sit there and you got to go, wow, this guy's playing all over the field.
Yeah.
And everywhere the ball seems to find him.
Sure, and it has, and he's got a flair, and he's got a youthful energy that this team needed at this time. So things feel like they're turning around for the Yankees, and they got the A's coming up. So.
Right, so they got to take care of this. The one thing that I worry about, and I don't think, look, DeGrom's going on Thursday night. Let's go. Let's kick it off now. Let's kick the last part of this season off, and let's get cranking. And that's the way I would look at it. I'm frustrated because we lost, and there are probably some things that have happened and some guys didn't come through. But for the most part, this team still is, leading its division. It still has a chance to do something very, very special this year. And as both teams have been talking about, they love to see each other in October.
Yeah, that would be, of course, the ultimate. I mean, I think I'd prefer not to see them in a Subway Series.
Oh, I would love that. Come on, that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great for us, but like on a fan level, it's like you want the spotlight all to yourself. Don't you?
Right. I guess you want, you'd like to play the Astros or something. Look, at the end of the day, for us, it's really the Dodgers.
The greatest thing ever.
It's the Dodgers and the Astros for the New York baseball fan. Those are the two teams. And the Braves, I guess you got to throw the Braves in there. Those are the three teams that, our teams are going to have to get through.
Yeah, and you mentioned DeGrom, who kicks off this series against the Rockies. I didn't love what Keith Hernandez told us yesterday about that. Like, he was sort of alluding to the fact that, man, he didn't really have his best stuff in his last start. Now they pushed him back a couple of days. Like, I hope nothing's going on. Like, he said that. And I mean, maybe he knows something. I don't know. But I don't love the fact that he sort of alluded to, well, he wasn't great the last time out. Now they're giving him an extra day with DeGrom's injury history. So I want to see him come out and be phenomenal and maybe even go 7 innings, God forbid, against a Rockies team that is horrendous on the road. I mean, really, really bad in other team stadiums. So shut him down. 1 hitter, 2 hits over 7. Do something dominant. Be the Cy Young guy that we need, not the guy that you push back because he needs extra rest.
Well, I mean, this is where, if he wants to opt out of his contract,
right?
It's about time to start showing something.
Yeah, I saw Pedro Martinez say that he finds it hard to believe that he would leave the Mets if he opted out of the contract. But I don't know. I don't find it hard to believe. But who cares about that?
Well, the question, that is off-season stuff. But the question is who would give him the money that he's looking for? And I'm sure there are probably 3 or 4 teams out there that would most certainly do that. But look, with his injury history over the last 3 years, man, it is that is going to be a question.
Sure, for anybody who signs him, including the Mets.
And especially if he doesn't make it through the rest of this season.
Oh, then forget it. I mean, at that point, he shouldn't even opt out. I mean, seriously. Now, also, that number is going to go up and up and up if he's great throughout the World Series. And by the way, if he's pitching Game 7 of the World Series and is great, and then opts out of his contract and the Mets win a championship,
That's
there's
a
no
different
way
story.
in hell
That's
that
a
Steve Cohen is letting him go to the Braves.
That's a totally different story, yes.
So there's still a story to be told the rest of the year with Jacob deGrom and the Mets. And same thing with the Yankees and Aaron Judge. Like, there's like definitive opinions about what's going to happen. I got to see how this plays out. I mean, Aaron Judge could go on some incredible tear in the postseason like he's doing in the regular season and be a World Series MVP, and the Yankees have no choice but to give him $42 million a year or more.
I'm telling you that it would be just absolutely just awful if they don't keep him. They need to keep. I mean, he needs to be here for the next 5 to 10 years. He does.
Well, 10 years gets him into his 40s.
I know, but somewhere between 5 and 10, okay?
Right.
And how many 99 jerseys do you see in the stadium?
Oh, I mean, it's incredible.
I mean, my God.
Right.
I mean, I think that Tom Brady gets a piece of his jersey sales down in Tampa. I think it's the only way that they can pay him. I don't know how else they're paying him.
You think there's some fugazi going on?
There's something going on down there. Because I mean, like, if there's ever a guy that's worth $60 million a year, it's Tom Brady.
Sure, of course.
So somehow, he's getting his.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to get his $375 million from Fox, of course, whenever that deal kicks in. But what he's doing and how are they paying him?
Yeah, I don't know.
I like to know. And they got like $20 million of dead cap money, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, on their roster. I'm like that's the thing. Like, Aaron Judge is that guy for the Yankees.
Sure.
And the jerseys are everywhere. And people come to Yankee Stadium, on the random Wednesday, Thursday, the tourist, Yankee Stadium, we got to see Yankee Stadium, and what do they want to see? They want to see Aaron Judge. That's what they're going there for.
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody does. I mean, the opposing fans who come in, the Yankee fans, the tourists, everybody.
We want to see Scherzer, DeGrom, and I think people want to come to see Pete Alonso.
Yeah.
But, he's the guy. He is the face. He is the franchise. I feel bad that he's not 27. I wish you were 27 years old and doing this, because then there would be no question.
Oh, he would have gotten a much larger contract. It wouldn't even been something that was debated. He would have gotten like a Harper Machado type of deal. It would have been the end of it.
I mean, look, you're right. When he is going, look at them.
Oh yeah, it's stark, the numbers. I mean, he's the straw that stirs their drink, and he's always been that. And if you look at times where he's been healthy, the numbers that he puts up are massive. Yeah. And he hasn't been this healthy since 2017 when he was a runner-up as the AL MVP.
And it's remarkable to me is that the Nets are going to bring back Kevin Durant and pay him all that money. And meanwhile, the Yankees are haggling over a couple, $5-10 million with this guy.
Well,
you got to be kidding.
Well, that number has grown more than $5 or $10 million because this is the best walk year maybe in the history of sports.
It's unbelievable. I mean, when you compare the two situations,
yeah,
you got one guy that's making $200 million for 4 years, basically telling the owner a month ago, get rid of the general manager and the coach, or I'm not playing, and then somehow now is backing back into the Nets, and okay, I'll play. Okay, great. And meanwhile, you got this guy out in right field for the Yankees, center field, hitting home runs, RBIs, key plays, great throws. 5-tool player. I don't know if you knew that. Runs well.
Yeah, that's right. Leader in the clubhouse.
Right, leader in the clubhouse. Can hit the ball out of the zone, up the zone, in the zone, down the zone, around the zone.
Yep, one of the most popular players in all of baseball.
I mean, the stark contrast in the way these two players are being treated, it's mind-numbing.
Yeah, and that was a bomb off of Taijuan Walker last night. I mean, he knew it right away. He didn't even turn around and look at it. He was actually it seemed like he was yelling at Nito right after the home run.
Maybe Nito called the wrong pitch. Who knows?
but that's not. You don't then show up your catcher right after that.
I don't think so either. But man, when you're a pitcher, the moment that ball is, as they say, barreled up.
Well, especially when it's Aaron Judge and it's a 450-foot shot.
Could you imagine what that must sound like from the pitcher's perspective?
Oh, my God. I don't know if CBS Sports Network has that Aaron Judge home run, but if you look at Taijuan Walker, he doesn't turn around. He puts his fist into the glove, and he starts, pointing at Nito. I told you we should be throwing this pitch or whatever it was. But, yeah, I mean, that was just massive. And they needed it. And he hit a home run against Scherzer the night previous. He hit another bomb here. He's back. He's now got 48. So we'll see what he ends up doing the rest of this month in September.
It's interesting to me that, and I know this because I was a pitcher myself, how the catcher, for the most part, I would think, not for all the great pitchers, I don't necessarily know for DeGrom or Scherzer, but how the catcher does control the game with what they're calling, or, maybe the pitching coach or the managers controlling it through the catcher, whatever. That the pitcher on the mound, especially like a Taijuan Walker, he's been around for a long enough time to know like what the game plan should be and what you're trying to do. I don't know if it's just that they lose track of the pitches maybe that they've been throwing, and the information that's coming from the dugout to the catcher to the pitcher is basically information that they're keeping track of, so the pitcher knows what they know what he's already thrown and Aaron Judge doesn't hit. I mean, it's not that. I mean, he's the best player in baseball right now.
Right. I mean,
Jesus Christ.
Why are you throwing him a strike? Period. I know nobody was on base, but at this point, if he's getting hot, and I know he wasn't hot for a while, if he's getting hot, you avoid him like the plague.
I will say this: after that home run, I was afraid that whole thing was going to blow up.
Yeah,
it came inches from blowing up.
Yeah, it did, and they still had an opportunity in the ninth, but couldn't get it done early on, late. Leaving runners on base, really frustrating.
And what was the? I was looking. I watched the Met broadcast.
Well, of course. Everybody did, because the Yankee broadcast was on Amazon.
So what was that? Why was that?
So it was on nationally on TBS. It was blacked out locally. Oh, it was on SNY, which was the normal broadcast, and then the normal Yankee broadcasters were on Amazon. So if you are a Yankee fan that wanted to watch that game just normally on cable, then you were getting the Met broadcast.
I was sitting at lunch yesterday with three interesting guys. And one of the guys, well, I'll talk about this a little bit later, but one of the guys did say that, Jeff Bezos can buy every professional sports team in America if he wanted to, and still have a couple $100 billion laying around.
Sure.
To pay the players.
That's right. There's only a couple guys in the world that could do that. Elon Musk is another, right?
I guess so.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely he is.
Well, I don't know with the whole Twitter fight and everything else going on. I don't know what the hell's going on there.
Yeah.
You can't say this. You can't say that. Don't say this. Don't say that. I mean, Jesus, God, it's like I just want to hit myself over the head with my microphone. God almighty.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.